If you don't believe the Red Sox are cursed yet, you might want to start believing now. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin, and I have no idea what is going on with this Red Sox team right now. I don't know if they just flat out refuse to get healthy, if it's a problem within the training room, if it's a problem with the baseball gods. I don't know if they just someone went and made an old witch or wizard real angry and cursed this team. I don't know what is going on, but it just refuses to end. And the latest victim of the Red Sox IL monster is a guy that I think is going to be a pretty big loss here. So what we are going to do in today's videos, we're going to break this down. We're going to talk about who is injured, how they got injured, how much time they may miss, and what this means for the Boston Red Sox. But before we get into that, just a heads up, we are going to be live tonight talking about this and other injury news in a live stream on this channel at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Oh, and we're watching the Red Sox take on the Braves as well. If you're interested in that type of stuff, we may be live while you're watching this video, so head over to my channel. Again, it will be at 7 p.m. Eastern time right here on Red Sea Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. For those of you who may not know who we're talking about yet in this video, just a couple of hours ago, it was announced that Red Sox star rookie Wilyer Abreu will be joining the growing list, the ever-growing list, that is the Red Sox IL. He was placed on the 10-day IL retroactive to June 3rd, which basically means his IL stint started yesterday. And for those of you who don't know, and you may be talking to yourself and saying, Corbin, how did Wilyer Abreu injure himself in the last game that the Red Sox played? Well, he injured himself by tripping going into the dugout on the last step down. That's right, folks. Wilyer Abreu sprained his ankle walking into the Red Sox dugout. That's where this Red Sox injury luck is currently at. And when I say currently at, I mean absolutely, utterly abysmal. Now, we don't exactly know the exact severity of the sprain. Alex Cora went on to WEI and said that he had an MRI yesterday, that he's going to go see a specialist today, so we'll know how bad it is. I'd probably guess it's not exactly fantastic news if the MRI came back and they immediately sent him to a specialist, but I'm not a doctor. And Wilyer Abreu did speak to reporters before today's game about what his injury status is, and he spoke that he says the MRI revealed a lot of inflammation in the ankle. He just needs to rest and let the swelling subside. He hopefully won't need more than 10 days on the IL, which sounds absolutely fantastic. To me, what that sounds like is a grade 1 strain, which if you take a look at the different strains and how long the recovery time is, this injury could be really scary. Wilyer Abreu saying he hopes it's only 10 days. We don't exactly know what it could be, but if he's speaking like this, there's a possibility a grade 1 strain is what he got diagnosed with, which is about 1 to 3 weeks before he can come back to Major League Baseball. Now, if it's anything worse than a grade 1 strain, it gets a lot more dicey. A grade 2 ankle sprain can last anywhere up to 2 months. We could lose Wilyer Abreu in a Red Sox uniform until August if it's anything worse than a grade 1 strain. And heaven forbid, worst case scenario here, it ends up being a grade 3 strain, which could end up having him miss a few months before he's back into baseball action. That could put him anywhere coming back in late September, early September, even missing the rest of the year. Again, I'm not going to start freaking people out. I'm just putting out all the different scenarios here. He did speak. He seemed like he was in high spirits. He seemed like it wasn't the worst deal in the world, and he just needs some time off his feet. So my guess is it is that grade 1 strain, but there is a possibility it is more than that. And I just wanted to lay those possibilities out there for you in case something else does happen in between the time when I'm recording this video and the time that it comes out. Obviously, when it comes to the impact this is going to have on the Boston Red Sox, in my opinion, it's absolutely massive, regardless how much time he does end up spending on that IL. Right now, with Casas not due back until at least another, I would say 3-ish weeks, probably going to end up being more as he's still not swinging a bat. Tyler O'Neill, who's still working his way back from injury, he is starting his rehab stint tonight. Shouldn't be a whole lot longer. Sounds like he'll be back within the next couple of days. And Massa still at least a couple ways away, the Sox have a massive hole in their lineup, and we've known that for a pretty long period of time here. Wilyer was doing a great job minimizing that hole. So far this year, he had a 272 average with a 344 on base percentage and a 485 slug, good for a 130 OPS plus, or about 30% more productive than the average hitter in Major League Baseball. He also had 6 home runs, 14 doubles, 2 triples, and 22 RBIs. Enough to firmly plant himself in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. The Red Sox had been struggling in the month of May offensively, and this injury is definitely not going to make it any easier for them to turn it around. The Red Sox honestly can't really afford to lose Wilyer's bat because there really isn't anyone on the current team that can replace him, right? You look down the lineup today, and you've got Jamie Westbrook, who, congratulations, you're getting your first start in Major League Baseball. Gotta feel absolutely fantastic. I hope he ends up surprising everybody and hits really well and really shows out in his first game, but he's batting 5th for you today. That's the state of this Red Sox roster right now with all the injuries that they're dealing with, and what that's going to end up doing is putting a lot more pressure on the front half of this lineup, the guys that are normally your top producers, right? Jarren Duran and Rafael Devers are now going to have to take a brunt of that burden in being able to produce. Connor Wong, who's sort of sneakily been one of the Red Sox best hitters this year, now has to step into the spotlight and try and make up for some of those losses. Rob Refsnyder, another guy who's been quietly really good this year, again, needs to step into the spotlight and be one of those big producers, and it's just sort of taking everyone's role and bumping it up a notch, and that usually doesn't end up working out too well. Now, obviously, there are times where that does work out pretty well, but there are a lot more times where it doesn't work out than it does. Not to mention this is going to cause some defensive issues as well. Wilyer may be a tiny bit scary at times in that outfield, but normally he is a very, very great right field defender. He's really sort of solidified a spot as a fantastic right field defender in Fenway Park, which isn't exactly an easy thing to do, right? Fenway Park's right field is one of the most tricky outfields to play in all of baseball, and he's been doing absolutely fantastically out there. Again, you do have Rob Refsnyder, who can play some solid defense, but I don't think it's going to be at the level of Wilyer Abreu, and you do have Tyler O'Neill coming back in a little bit, so that should help defensively, but how much is that going to help offensively? There's just not really a solution here, and it's pretty much the same story we've talked about this entire year. There are guys that are going down on the Red Sox right now that just flat out you don't have an answer for, and I don't know how much more of this the Red Sox can take. Now, the Red Sox did make a move to replace Wilyer Abreu on the 26-man roster, and that move was to call up Tyler Heineman from AAA, and to be honest with you, I think this move is almost exclusively because he just happened to be on the 40-man roster and was a position player. The Red Sox really don't have a ton of options when it comes to potential position players to call up, and Tyler Heineman, in my opinion, just happened to be in line. He does have some experience with the Red Sox, though. He appeared in one game with the Sox back in late April. I'm sure some of you guys remember that because it was marred with, hey, why aren't we putting Massa in this game and we're starting Tyler Heineman at DH? And I'm sure you guys remember that. He worked a walk in 2 at-bats, so there's that. But overall, he hasn't really done a whole lot at the major league level in his career, and immediately after that game that he played, he was also a victim of the Red Sox IL. Now, he's actually not hitting too bad in AAA. The average isn't exactly fantastic. It's a 235 average, but he's getting on base a lot, 398 on base percentage, and a 338 slug, which is good for a 106 WRC plus, about 6% above league average production at the AAA level. Not exactly a super slugger or anything, but I don't know, maybe there is something there in terms of a bit of production coming from Tyler Heineman for the Boston Red Sox. Unfortunately, what he does not bring to this Red Sox team is any sort of defensive versatility. He spent 2 or 3 games at first base throughout his career, but outside of that, he is almost strictly a defensive catching type. So I don't know if the Red Sox want to try and switch out some of these players a little bit. David Hamilton at shortstop, Connor Wong at second base, say Don Rafael in the outfield with Tyler Heineman behind the dish could be an alignment that they go with in the absence of Wilyer Abreu to just try and get as many potential bats in there as possible. But it's certainly, again, like I said, not a clear solution to the problem of losing Wilyer Wilyer Abreu. And to me, that's the biggest problem, is just to any of these injuries the Red Sox have had this year, you just don't have an answer for him. And that's a really scary thought, because at some point, how many injuries can the Red Sox withstand, right? How many times can you get beaten down until you just simply can't get back up? Right now, the Red Sox have been getting back up, and they've been playing fairly well, but they're barely afloat. They're at that 500 level. They're quite literally at sea level right now. The hope was, hey, we're going to start to get a bit healthier here, and we're going to start to see them climb out of the water a little bit and get onto dry land. The problem with that is, once guys start getting a little bit healthy, once you start hearing encouraging news like Massa hitting off a tees, or Tristan Casas taking ground balls, or Tyler O'Neill starting his rehab stint, another couple of guys immediately go down. Romy, Vaughn, and Wilyer in the last couple of days is the exact amount of players you're losing to the exact amount of players you're getting off this IL. It's a merry-go-round, a carousel of injuries right now, and at some point that's going to impact this Red Sox team more than it has already, right? The Red Sox, in my opinion, have done a really good job of having guys step up in positions where they normally wouldn't be asked to step up in. It's a big reason why they've been able to, at the bare minimum, maintain this 500 status, but losing Wilyer, in my opinion, is a really, really big loss. This is a guy who was essentially your third best hitter on the entire team. This was the guy who you had as your number 2 hitter for the last couple of weeks, and who was producing both on the field and in the batter's box. You don't have anyone like that to replace him on an everyday level. I love Rob Refsnyder. He's been fantastic, but he's been fantastic because you used him in very specific situations. Now, I don't know what he's going to look like as an everyday starter until Wilyer gets back. So overall, again, it's just not exactly fantastic news for the Red Sox. I'm so sick and tired of talking about injuries. It's all we have talked about this season. At some point here, the baseball gods have to show us mercy and give us a at least partially healthy Red Sox team, a team that at the bare minimum isn't suffering any more injuries than it's currently going through, because there's no way this lasts all season. At least I hope it doesn't, because that may drive me absolutely crazy. Either way, it sucks for Wilyer. He was having a great year. It sucks for the Red Sox. They really needed him. And it sucks for fans, because Wilyer was one of the most fun players to watch on the Boston Red Sox. But that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think? What do you think about the Wilyer injury? What do you think about what they're going to do to replace him? And how long do you think he will be out? Let me know all your thoughts on the latest Red Sox injury and a long line of Red Sox injuries in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It just helps out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Don't forget, live probably when you're watching this video, or at least very close to when you're watching this video on this channel, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.